Well, hey there. Hey, Jaconda. Thanks for coming over. It might be just you and I because I know it's late and I know people have jobs and they may not be awake this late. I don't think I'm going to be on very long because I have an early morning appointment and I still have to break down my makeup. So I got to take my makeup off. Um, but I first want to acknowledge another mass shooting another mass shooting, this time in, I guess, LA County in California. I haven't paid much attention to the story, um, but I just caught a glimpse of Mehdi Hassan, and it's I know that there's the lunar, is it the Lunar New Year for Asians that they're celebrating? So this may have happened at one of their events. It's just sad. It's just very, very sad to hear about another mass shooting and then hear the empty thoughts and prayers that are usually sent out by the likes of those who are fierce uh, upholders of their Second Amendment rights. And I know now in this state, you don't even have to have a license. You don't need to know shit. You can just get a gun. So thank you, Governor Kemp. Thank you very much. You cannot complain when shootings go up because you and your stupid ass constituents and your the state House representatives and the Senate put this bill through. So you got blood on your motherfucking hands. Oh, and I'm going to try to keep my allotment of fucks and motherfuck down. I'm going to try to temper it tonight. um, I wanted to come on, first of all, to thank Rasslin Reeds for coming on with me. I really like her. She's got such a sweet spirit and she's just so laid back and calm. It kind of helps to have that kind of energy on. I think especially when Tanya and I are on together, because as we know, Tanya is very passionate when she gets on. She's just a very passionate person and, speaks her mind and believes what she believes. As, I'm outspoken also. So it's nice to have her there to be like the soothing balm. But one of the topics that we touched on but didn't really go into were white aligned immigrants coming into this country. I get it. The powers that be, those who have control over the airways, have done a great job of villainizing Black Americans all around the world so that immigrants come here with preconceived notions about us. They don't seem to mind when they're called rapists, drug dealers, traffickers, and all of that. And I'm talking about the Latino and Hispanic community. I don't seem to mind being called that by the orange fog, by your president. That doesn't seem to bother you. It kind of bothered the African community when he called your country shithole countries, because I do remember all of the very educated Africans appearing on various talk shows who were offended by it and who were pretty much put in a position where they defended themselves by discussing their education, their accomplishments, etc. That's great. That's great. But all I got to say is welcome to fucking America. Now, just because a person criticizes, just because I criticize this country doesn't mean that I love it any less. It doesn't mean that I don't understand why people would risk their lives to come here and live here. As I said last night, I've been blessed to travel to many countries, and because of what I was doing, singing, and whom I was traveling with, we were treated very well. So we were able to stay and find places. But I tell you what, I was always very, very happy to get back on American soil. And I did listen to Tanya. I listened to Tanya's lives, Jaconda. I don't always comment, but I do listen, and I try my best to let her know that I'm listening. Anyway, the reason I wanted to talk about immigrants who come here and align themselves with whites is because, again, I get it. You know, you want to feel like you're on the winning team. And that's cool with me. You know, if that's how you feel. I don't really give a shit who you vote for. You know, it's your right to vote for who you feel represents you and your values and what not. Though these days I don't see how anyone's Republican because they haven't demonstrated that they have any values. They demonstrated that as a bunch of QAnon crackpots that are running the party. Traitors is what they are. The Jim Jordans, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Lauren Boeberts, the Matt Gaetz, all of them. I also said in the titling of this that if your tribe is aligned with DeSantis and those like him, then this is not a channel for you. And I don't give a fuck what you think, what you say, because your actions will always speak for you. I really don't. Let me tell you a little bit about the holidays. All right, we see DeSantis, who has pretty much created a country of his own in Florida. He illegally gerrymandered so that his ass could pretty much disappear Democratic districts, because I'm convinced Val Demings should have won that race. She was going against Rubio. Charlie Crist, to me, was not a great candidate for governor of Florida, but he might have gotten more votes if it hadn't been so terribly gerrymandered. DeSantis went as far as to gerrymander to the point where it was illegal or it was against his own state constitution. But because he's got a bunch of pussies that he sat on the bench in Florida, of course, they're going to fix it so that he can prevail in any courts that it's taken to. He might be seeing a little bit. We might see a few people with some backbone or some spine coming up. But, I'll believe the shit when I see it. But just let me give you an idea of the kind of the holidays that they celebrate in Florida. They celebrate Confederate Day. They celebrate Robert E. Lee's birthday and Jefferson Davis's birthday, all of whom believed and fought to keep slavery. The Southern Democrats, who have now become the Dixiecrats and the loudest, most ignorant motherfuckers up in the Congress. That they celebrate slavery, see, but they wouldn't dare institute Juneteenth to celebrate the end of it. he has now gone on a thing about CRT and teaching about African American history. See, that says to me he's a weak, spineless bitch. Because see, a man, to me, anybody, he is weak and spineless as a person. He tends to pattern himself after, except he wants to come across as a smarter version of him. To me, if you doing the shit you doing, you ain't smarter. You're not smarter. You're just as heinous and insidious and miserable. We talked about systemic racism, and to me, DeSantis is a living example of why systemic racism thrives in this country. But of course, some white people, let me just say, if I heard a young YouTuber say, if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm not saying all white people, but I'm not saying that at all. But the ones that are irked by this, the ones that can feel a sting, then it must be you, okay? Because I'm not in the mood right now. And then they all stand up and they think because they can throw God in it. They think that if they throw in Christ, if they throw in that they're Christians, that somehow it makes all the fuck shit they do right. They just, just because I'm a Christian, no, you're not. You are a fake ass Christian or pretending to be a Christian because your Christ has told you that how can you love him whom you have not seen and hate your brother whom you have seen? He says you are a liar and the truth is not in you. So you're liars. Jesus tells us that we're supposed to care for the sick, care for the widows, care for those less fortunate. I guess he would be considered a socialist if he were walking the earth today, because those are things y'all don't believe in. You want to call Social Security an entitlement. You're damn right people are entitled to it because they contributed to it. You goddamn right. From the first check you earn, you begin contributing to Social Security. It's supposed to be a cushion so that when you become of age, you'll have a little something because you ain't never get what you contributed, but you'll have a little cushion. So none of you who claim to be Christian are walking in the footsteps or doing the work. Now, you might be serving God, but I have to question which God you're serving, because there is a power on this earth too. Now, it ain't all power, but it's pretty fucking powerful. And it appeals to the racists. It appears to those who are self-loathing. It appears to those that have no fucking gumption. It appeals to those who want to sit around and complain about what ain't instead of giving thanks for what is. It appeals to those who somehow think that they are superior. It appeals to those who think that if you don't think like them, act like them, walk like them, talk like them, we got to kill you. It appeals to those low vibrating motherfuckers. It appeals to those who don't give a shit whether they're voting against their own interests, just as long as it's a Republican. That's all that matters to me. And then you go on and believe the Tucker Carlsons and the ones who are spreading this shit about white annihilation or whatever the fuck he's talking about, disappearance, you go on and believe that shit. When you voted against your own interests, you dumbass. Again, to me, DeSantis and those who stand with him, especially if you're an immigrant of color, because you're the ones that are coming over. You stand with a man who will go to another state to get immigrants to send them somewhere else. He won't do that to the ones coming up to his shores. You want to know why? It might piss off the people, the immigrants who are in his state who vote for him. I wonder how many of their relatives came on a boat or crossed illegally and had a baby on this soil, because the 14th Amendment says if you have a baby on this soil, then you are an American citizen. I wonder how many of them talking this bullshit are here illegally. I watched a special on MSNBC some time ago. The young woman I can remember her first name is Paola. I don't remember her last name. She is a same gender loving woman, a lesbian, who was the topic was why there's so many Latinos and Hispanics voting Republican. She visited a Latino woman in Florida who was a staunch DeSantis, I want to call him DeSatan supporter. She asked this woman why she was against them teaching Black history, because see, they still are screaming CRT, which is taught nowhere except in some, as a postgraduate study in some law schools. It's not taught in any primary school or grade. No, it's not. What it should be taught is the truth about this American history. But see, white people have to always feel like that they're so benevolent and so kind and they're the best, and all. They don't want to look in the mirror and see the ugliness that is in them. At any rate, this woman says she was not for it because why should a white kid be uncomfortable? Well, my children, Black children, have been uncomfortable for 400 fucking years. It's all right for us to be uncomfortable, but don't let the precious little white children be uncomfortable. And again, I'm not saying this about every white person. I'm not saying this about every immigrant. I'm not saying this about every Latino or any Hispanic or anybody else. But if the shoe fits, God damn it, put it on and take a walk. Fuck, go jogging. Because I'm going to tell you something. The day is going to come when you will, as much as you want to say you white, as much as you want to align yourself with white, the day's going to come when you will be niggerized and reminded that you are not one of them. The day is going to come when you start screaming about your civil rights. And guess who you're going to run to? You're going to run to the ones that led the movement. You wouldn't know a goddamn thing about civil rights if it wasn't for us. Oh, you're going to run and you're going to want to link arms and Black pastors will be coming out and Black legislators will be coming out to march with you, because that's what we do. But the more I hear the ignorance that comes out of some of your mouths, the more I got to think about that thing. Because marching is tough work. Protesting is not only tough, it's dangerous. Except, of course, if you're a white supremacist and you storm the Capitol and smear shit and piss all over the place. See, that's a white people thing. I don't know no black person that's going to do that. And then in your cowardice, you wanted to blame Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Baby, we know that there are a lot of people on that Capitol Hill force and in the National Guard and in the armed services. We know a lot of them were Trump supporters. We saw pictures of policemen helping the rioters out. I mean, come on. They would have killed everybody. And if that was Black Lives Matter, they got some hell of a makeup jobs, Ron Johnson, you dick-sucking bastard. Where are the guns? Maybe if you had your head up out of somebody's lap, you would have seen one, goddammit. In the Night of Racial Healing, they have the fabulous Nicole Hannah Brown on, Howard Professor, and who was responsible for the 1619 project, which pissed off incels like Ben Shapiro and some evangelicals who just don't want to accept it as being real. See, because y'all can't take the fact that we will no longer be a paragraph in your fucking history book. That we are going to tell the stories and not let you tell them. I've ceased watching any evangelical because they all voted for 45. I've stopped watching them. You're not going to play in my face. Oh, and the other thing that the Christ says, he says, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Now, I'm not angry. I'm not mad at anybody wealthy, but why should some everyday working person pay more taxes than you? There would be no tax attorneys if it were not for the wealthy. Because see, the tax laws are so complicated and so crazy. You have to have someone who is in that law discipline, who understands that shit, that can help you find shelters and help you set up LLCs and funnel money from this one to that one and this one to that one to this one to that one. And again, I'm not angry about your wealth, but I do get pissed off that you get all the breaks. So I know it's late and I hadn't planned to stay on long because I've taken off my eyelashes for that, and now I got to take out the makeup I put on today, and it's a deep cleaning exercise. I got to steam my pores open and keep wiping the water away until there's no more makeup on the towels, and then slam my pores shut with ice cubes and put on a moisturizer. You know, if you wear makeup, then you have to have a good skin cleansing regime. I'm going to read some of your some of your comments. We're going to share some of them. And I want to say hello to Roland Baker, Cheryl Simpson. Thank you for coming over. Of course, Edwina. Thank you, Jaconda. I really appreciate y'all taking time to come over here a little bit. Because it's late. It's late. And I just know that some of you are probably working. You got to get up and everything. So I'm not going to hold you long. I'm going to put the first comment out, which is from Jaconda. Yep, they know it belongs to us, which is why if white countries are controlling their borders and do not want any Africans to cross over, then they need to get out of Africa and leave all the shit they've been taking there. I just wish that African state nations could get together and create their own shit. You got all the riches underneath the soil. Everything precious is underneath that soil. And if you all decided to leverage that against all the countries in the world, you would rock the fucking banking world. You would change the whole monetary system. But we know that may never happen. And I'm going to put Jaconda's next. Yep, we see it going all over the world. All over the world. All over the world. We have this cancer that seems to grow. But I just have a feeling that there are enough of us who just simply won't put up for it. I just think there's enough people in this world who have had it. They've had it with the division. They've had it with the hatred. They've had it. Well, we had a man who, even in office, who said that his book sold more copies than the Bible. He's one of those who believes he is God, I guess. So he opened Pandora's box and just exposed it. But one of the last things I want to say is no black person is asking for anything except what was promised in that beloved piece of paper called the Constitution. You promised it, and you reverence it. So everybody that is on this American soil that is an American is entitled to what is promised. That's all. And you're right. Thank you, Rolanda, for being, first of all, an educator. It ain't never been easy for those of you who've been teaching. You get paid crap money, yet you're responsible for shaping some of the greatest minds in the world. I appreciate you. Yes, baby. Sometimes you got to go there with people who are ignorant, who don't. If you don't live it, you can't speak on it. I think it might be all those things, because marching means you made an appearance, Jaconda. marching makes you visible. Rolanda says she's been protesting since 1967. Ah, all right, girl. I know that's right. Let's see. I love it. You pleaded guilty, girl. I know that's right. I just think, there that we're gonna have to pull everything out the toolbox. We got to pull everything out the toolbox and use everything that we have, including that wonderful power of prayer, because as crazy as it might sound, I still believe in it, and I still know it works. I still know it works. And in my heart of hearts, I just don't think that the true and living God is going to allow this to go much further. I know that it speaks of all of this chaos going on. It has been spoken of, but people have been calling the end of the earth. I've heard people pray about these last and evil days. People have been praying those prayers. I don't know when the last days are. Like so many, I would just like my time here to be as peaceful and as fair as possible. As peaceful and as fair and just as possible. And right now, what we're experiencing is the most difficult part of it. Because we can see right before our eyes that you can lie, you can create a whole new life for yourself, girl. A whole new life. And get elected. And be seated and given an assignment on a committee. I got a few words for Kirsten Sinema, who to me, the only difference between her and Marjorie Taylor Greene is that Sinema has a larger vocabulary. They both fucking tramps. And if they had to suck every Republican dick in the Congress and in the Senate, they do it to get what they want. She was Davos, and she was talking about her becoming an independent, and she began off by saying, anybody that knows me knows that I've been an independent and thinking, no, bitch, your constituents know you to be a fucking fraud, because that's what you are. Now, if you wanted the bag, why didn't you just register as a Republican? Then she went on to speak about why she and Joe Manchin were against the filibuster. Well, your paymasters are against it, because the voting rights bills that the House and the Senate have been trying to push through would have made gerrymandering illegal. Why have that? Y'all always, you're running around talking about stolen elections. What is gerrymandering but stolen fucking elections? And now we got the likes of Kari Lake and everybody coming out talking about how it wasn't a fair election. Because people couldn't vote. Bitch, you could suck my dick if I had one. Maybe. Cinema, you and your boyfriend don't fool anybody. You and your boyfriend, Joe Manchin, don't fool anybody. And maybe while you in Davos, you'll suck the right dick and marry some billionaire or something, and then you can dress better because you like a goddamn fool wearing that big bird ass jacket you had on. You need some fashion tips, sis. You're not in the trailer park now, boo. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, yes, she is, Roland. She's glad, she's proud of it. But we know why she's proud of it. We know she's proud of it because the people that's breaking her off a piece would stop that cheese from coming. You know, I ain't mad at a girl getting the bag. Work ain't honest, but I guess it's paying the bills, girl. But no matter what you register as, independent, dependent, depends, I don't give a shit what you register as. We will be glad to see the back of you because I get a feeling you won't be nowhere in the federal government. So you're right, Jaconda. That bitch might give me STDs or something because she looks nasty as fuck. And Monostat Margie, the yeast beast, has purchased all the Monostat, so you can't hardly find a box up in the Walmart or anywhere else if you need it. Let's read Cheryl Simpson's The Loss of Language, the Loss of Culture and Heritage. You know, I cried when I saw some of the survivors of the way the indigenous people, not just in Canada but in America too, were treated by the righteous Catholic nuns and priests. I cried because you see, white folks, everybody don't want to be white. We have proud cultures and heritages and languages, and we want to keep those things alive. We will keep them alive. Because just as you speak up in your hatefulness and your racist language, thinking that somehow not teaching Black children about themselves or Latin children about themselves, whomever, thinking that they don't have a right to learn about their culture. No, we're going to speak up loudly and we're going to tell our stories. And we're going to continue to go forward telling our stories because ain't nobody interested going back, son. And the very shit you talking to DeSantis, oh, baby boy, it's going to crawl up your ass like malignant cancer, boo. It will come back and not only bite you, it will rot you from the inside out. You're not tough. I got a feeling that your wife is driving this thing, that she's gotten a level of respectability. I wonder how many of her relatives came over here legally and you helped them maybe get a little further in the game. I wonder. But she's got a little respectability and she loves being first lady. But it's going to get you too. And I don't want anyone in this chat or anybody that visits this to go silent or go quiet. Any kind of change that has come about in this country has been paid with blood. Dogs have been turned on them. Fire hydrant, it has been paid for. And it's time for us to fucking cash in. We're as American as anybody else on this. So, and we were not, I don't care how you want to dress up slavery. It's fucking slavery. I don't give a shit what that sleepy-eyed Ben Carson called it. He gave it some old fancy fucking name. You know, we ain't heard from his ass no more. He's probably somewhere sticking a propofol needle in his arm. And I guess this is for entertainment purposes, but I just don't feel like I'm fucking entertained right now. Those of you who were able to come here because you desired a better life, good on you. Those of you who are still coming because you want a better life, good on you. Because if you risk your life to get here, because shit is so bad where you are, you would rather roll the dice of life and death to get here, good on you. I got it, you know, hats off. Hats off. That's determination. So that's my rant. And I'm now gonna do my cleansing, my facial cleansing, and then shower and get ready to soldier on another day. Thank you all so much for coming through and listening to me. One more thing. Yeah, you know, there were some other horrible things that were done by the Germans. They also, for lack of a better word, they neutered biracial children that were born. They fixed them so that they could never reproduce. Some heinous shit went on in Germany, and as quiet as it's kept, some of those scientists that were doing genetic experiments and shit came over to this country. Mm-hmm. But recently, a 97-year-old nurse was thrown into jail for the rest of her life for being part of the Reich. So somebody is still looking for their asses. And if Germany wants nothing to do with that Nazi movement, I doubt that I don't think we're gonna see it here either. Nobody wants that shit. And if the MAGAs don't like being here, they don't like democracy. There are plenty of countries you can go to, booze, that don't like it either. Okay? So y'all stay vigilant, you know. Do your best every day to enjoy the beauty of the day, understanding that the first miracle of the day is you waking up with the precious breath of life in your lungs. That is the first miracle. And once you acknowledge that and are thankful for that and are grateful for that, you begin to notice what we might call little miracles. Who knows? Your big miracle may be out there waiting for you. We can't give up. We can't give up. And no, we might let our lights burn a little dim, but we cannot let them go out. Okay? So again, on next Saturday, it'll be Rasslin Reads, and Tanya and I will come on with our foolishness on Saturday. I may come back through the week. Don't know. I got to see on Monday how the lay of the land. I got to prepare for a big event on Saturday. Oh, because today I woke up thinking it was Monday. I was all fucked. I had left over Sunday to Monday. But I have to prepare for a really big event on Saturday. And I will share it with you. Hey, Electra, I will share it with you perhaps in one of our next lives. But anyway, thanks again. Y'all have sweet slumber and let your light shine. Mwah! Good night.